And yo guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Today I want to tell you about, being a gamer in a third world country. You know how it's like growing up a gamer where there's not much money, not much gamers and not much opportunities? In this video I'll tell you exactly how much fun it was growing up in one of those countries. Advanchiki and WRX. What a machina, guys. This is the car I really want to buy. This is the car, about 100 horsepower, more than my car, all-wheel drive. Like, there is just a thingy here also, for the air intake, for the turbine. My god, guys, my wife would never let me buy this one because I would be just too aggressive driving it. Let me tell you a little bit about evolution, guys. I started with Nintendo, then Sega, then PS1, and then finally PC gaming. And it was not an easy step growing up in one of those countries, really poor countries, one of the poorest ones in the world. When I was a kid, first it started like that. Nobody knew what that was. So it started in such a way that they opened small shops. So like literally you go to a shop and there would be a couple of Nintendo standing there, a couple of TVs, and you could actually pay money. You could play for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes, for 1 hour. So we would bug our parents to go and play that Nintendo a little bit in one of those shops, and that's the only way we could do that because the damn thing was so expensive and not every parent could afford it. And then one day, guys, my parents, they gave me a Nintendo, and I think that was one of the best days in my childhood. Of course, later on, almost everyone had that console, but it was so cool to have it when all your friends would go to your place and want to be friends with you just because they wanted to play that console. And one day, this amazing game appeared. I don't remember the name exactly, but you were running, the bridge collapses, there are bullets flying. It's like but it was awesome. It was colorful, it was beautiful, and there's a couple of levels and you just have to run basically and shoot with the gun blazing. It was just something beyond imaginable at that time. When PlayStation 1 came out, it was like a virtual reality. It's something unreal became finally real and you could actually play there. You would look at the game and you would be like, this game actually looks like a real life. At that time, pixelated, as horrible as it is, it was one of the most amazing things to play. I was a big fan of PS1. It was an amazing console, but then even more interesting things started happening. It was PC gaming, but the problem is nobody could afford buying one. I just go onto the field and I'll tell you a little bit more how difficult it was. Свежескошенная трава. See how they cut the grass here, nice and beautiful field, and I'm the only person here. That's when guys, this kind of field started getting more emptier and more, teenagers, us at that time, started playing games. And it was not easy because you had to pay a lot of money because lots of the people couldn't afford buying a PC. So we would go to a place that would be called like Игровуха. Basically any place that you can find with tons of PCs standing around that you can pay per hour or per, half an hour or a few hours to play them. And the funny thing is, guys, those people who couldn't afford playing anymore, they would try to stay there and watch other people play games as much as they could before they get kicked out by the security. But it was like so interesting to go there, play, and then you just run out of money. You go to your parents say like, no more playing for you. There's not enough money for that, and then you're just sitting there and watching other kids play and trying to hang out until some security comes and says you start disturbing everyone and please get out, and you're trying to sneak back in to watch the progress of other players playing the game. Guys, the gaming was absolutely insane. You had some progress in your game. They might decide to play the same game and they might even save on top of your progress their progress. So it was literally almost impossible to finish a game until we started figuring out some hacks, how to hide our progress, how to save it in a different folder and stuff like that. But at the beginning it was really hardcore. And the ridiculous thing is my friend got bitten by a rat. You're playing in a basement, playing computer games, Counter-Strike, and then the rat comes out. Oh wow, what is that? Something almost went into my ear. The rat comes out and bites his finger where he had his mouth clicking. So that was one of the most ridiculous things. The guy had to go to a hospital. The guy had to take like injections from rabies, and it was crazy. That is how the gaming started in the Eastern Europe. If you are from America and you have no idea what I'm talking about, now you're probably going to realize why Eastern Europeans are so obsessed gamers? Why are we so hardcore? There was even a situation, do you know the game Lineage? It's like World of Warcraft, but some people like it more than that, but seriously not the best game. There were cases where a guy who had his enemy in Lineage in Moscow, he went and he stabbed the guy because that guy was more popular guy on a server. In real life, the guy went to jail for murder. Can you imagine that? So I'm saying that, you know, it was a really hardcore gaming, and there were fights inside this room where you pay for playing your game. You're playing Counter-Strike. There were occasions when someone of your opponent that you just shot in your game, for example, you're a terrorist and the other person is what, like a cop, you know, on the Counter-Strike. So you go and you headshot the person just because you're a good player. But that person thinking that you're just picking on his computer, just like Twitch live streamers get shot sometimes by, you know, picking their sniping and everything. So the sniping was literally in one room because there was no internet and we were just playing, like come in 10 of us, 5 of us would be in one team, 5 in another team. Sometimes we even played those games for money. Everyone beats the money and then the last team gets to keep them all. There were competitions. It was intense. It was like YouTube, where you watch people play, but in real life you can actually build real connections with those people, and you had to bring your own friends if you wanted to play with someone. It's only later on when the internet appeared, but at the beginning it was just a local network between 30 or 50 computers that they had there and people playing. Now the most interesting part was that basement where I used to go. We could go there for one night because it was open 24/7, but for the night they actually had a special tariff that was really cheap. So for the night you would go inside there with your friends, like from 10 p.m. and until 5 a.m. and you would play games. And I spent, I don't know how many nights, but definitely I spent a lot of time playing games in that place with my friends. And they would literally close the doors. The security guy, the administrator would be sleeping there, and you're locked in that basement with your friends and just playing games and enjoying. And it was one of the most interesting experiences of that time, of 1990s in Ukraine, where it's really, guys, it was something extraordinary, really interesting, and something that probably local kids like of our time, the younger generations who have all those PCs would never experience. It's like you are watching a live stream, but you're just sitting behind the person. You can recommend the person, like instead of leaving a comment, you can actually say, go do this, go do that. Or it was interesting, it was exciting, especially more exciting other people watching you, supporting you. For example, you're playing the game and you're winning the game and people are just sitting there behind you cheering. It was amazing, you know, and it was also hardcore. And I believe that I don't think those places exist anymore because everyone nowadays have a PC if they wanted, because they became so much cheaper and more affordable. I played Warcraft 1 when there was orcs, and it was like a really simple game but yet really interesting before the Warcraft 3 showed up, before it became all popular, before the Dota showed up and all those, you know, additions, add-ons later on. At the beginning it was just those games. And the interesting thing too is we had matches, we had a competition between, for example, you know, you'd go there with your friends and you had matches one-on-one through a local network, you know, building your kingdoms, and it was really interesting. How many of you remember first Diablo that came out? It was one of the most interesting games and progress. And it was so interesting to find, you know, different exploits in that game too, finding different glitches, you know, show off in front of each other. No, it was a different time. It was before YouTube, it was before all of that interesting stuff becoming so much of online community. I think it was like a beginning of everything. Right now you can see like PewDiePie playing games and people watching. There you're just literally sitting there and people are watching you, and it was extremely interesting to do that, especially when your friends are right behind you and enjoying your game as much as you do. It's so much more interesting. It was also ridiculously different from what it is right now. Guys, kids who are growing up right now are having it so easy, and you know, basically the fundament of everything what's going on right now, it's kind of we build it on our community. So if anyone is going to be here complaining that their kids are playing too many games, guys, we are, you know, ourselves are responsible for this awesome reality that we have created for people right now by being so hardcore in gaming and all the beginning community in past probably 20 years. Alright guys, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.